What's up? My name is Nikki. I have an art studio called Kiid, and I basically make art for your inner child. This piece right here is called KAiJU. It's a piece of Daydream art, so I didn't have any idea what I was doing before I went into it, and then we got into it. I cut a clip that's basically documentation of what I did, and now it's just me processing it and honoring what made it to the paper. Here we go. Studio plug. After 5 minutes that I cut out of just sitting there twiddling my thumbs, I was like, you know what? I think we're gonna work on a carrot. The carrots have been calling. That's what I've been channeling the last year. Just kind of bringing them to life. So I was like, all right, let's make it an epic carrot. Let's scale it up. And so I was like, all right, cool. So where is this carrot? And I was like, well, the only other thing I was probably going to draw on my first Daydream clip was dinosaurs or the desert or all of the above. So I was like, all right, cool. Let's have it be a KAiJU carrot that's coming out of the ground somewhere in the desert. It's being called to wake humanity up to the insanity. So this was just kind of a carrot in a misformed shape, sort of swinging around. Carrot greens just flying in different directions. Things that were sort of coming up for me as I was crafting while I was drawing, getting the pencil work down. I was thinking of the elemental god from Hellboy 2. Just kind of that gangly, swinging tentacle thing. At this point, I do wish I had just committed to putting a wash down. I wish that I didn't try to get specific only on the eyes and the moon, because that was mistake number one for me. You know, I start my clips with "there are no wrong marks." And that doesn't mean that they're not mistakes. It just means I'm willing to learn something from every single mark. Every mark does matter, and what this was showing me is that I needed to slow down, and I just kept going. I was panicking, just started going and going, and I wish I had taken maybe 30 more minutes to plan it, or even 5 minutes to see the image a little bit more clearly in terms of color. This was another mistake. I went in thinking this was going to be a translucent color, but I have used it before and I know that it's opaque. And I knew that it was going to be difficult working within just watercolor from here forward for the carrot to get it where I first imagined it. It was going to be kind of murky. I wanted very like bold, clean lines. But I also wish I had left that alone, left the carrot alone, and come back to it once the first wash dried. So I wish I had just done maybe the desert, the mountain, the sky, and the moon, and the eyes. Just did a nice big warm wash of all of it. This is after it dried. Now we're moving into second wash. I love carrot greens. Like, I love drawing them, I love painting them. They're just kind of ridiculous. They just kind of explode for me. Everyone kind of depicts their carrot differently, but I like my carrots rooty as all hell. Just gnarly. And then I like the carrot greens to be like whoosh. This was again another moment of like sheer panic. I was like, alright, let's get the red sky in, but it's like I knew this wasn't gonna be a strong enough red. Even if I layered it on, it was a warmer red, and it wasn't going to create enough contrast for what I was looking for. You know, but everything's a learning experience. I do kind of love, it was an opportunity for me to practice my negative painting skills, which is like when you paint around objects. So since I'm painting the sky, I was like negative painting to create the stems for the carrot greens. I also enjoyed the uneven wash of the sky, which I'm getting used to, just giving myself permission to let the sky rock. Like, why does it always gotta be these perfect smooth washes? At this point, I was feeling okay. I was feeling good. I felt like, okay, there was a few missteps, but I think I can keep working this and I can like get to where I need to. I was liking how I was rendering these really crazy feet. How one side has like two different root leg things. It's so easy to do too much with watercolor, and I'm still learning to like take a step back. It's really about patience ultimately. Somewhere around here, I was noticing that a mouth was forming. And again, another example of like I was just kind of fighting myself. Instead of honoring that I saw the mouth, I just was like, all right, let's hide it. But what that led to was, you'll see. Right here, it looks like a fucking mouth. It looks kind of happy, and I think it might have worked better if it was just this happy kaiju sprouting out of the earth. I'm back, bitches. That's the mark. once I added that green, I had to figure out how to get it off there, how to make sense of it. Right now I was just deepening the values, a little quickly, but I knew where they needed to go, and this was separate from the background. This is my fish tank. Keeps me company. Reminds me of how important water is. So at this point, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like everything is moving. It looks like I've got a good enough idea for the color palette, how to stay within that, and how to make that bolder. So I just go in, give a little bit more detail to the carrot greens. I do sometimes get impatient, and I just kind of to the greens, and I'm trying to get better, but I'm just not sure it's my style. I like watching people do it, but when I have to do it, I prefer dancing with the brush and not politely. At that moment, I was like, oh, this is sick. There's 2 carrot greens that look like wings. Whoosh. Establishing the foreground. I think the other challenge that was right off the bat was when I decided that the desert was going to be the desert. And then I was like, all right, well, the colors are going to be warm tones, and I don't know if I want the carrot to be orange then, because I don't want it to be that similar. Although in retrospect, that would have been its own fun challenge. But knowing I was going to make the sky red and the desert all sort of brown, yellow tones, I was like, you know what, we're going to have to change up the carrot. And so we did the blue. I do kind of like this palette. I think I would want to give this piece a genuine go. If this is the study, then look out for the real deal. I have an idea already of all the things I learned from this and what I want to achieve and how I can do it with more ease and more fun. This gave me kind of the blueprint. tried to get the scale by putting some tiny saguaros in the back. More definition on the leaves. I wish I had not cared as much on trying to render realistic lighting in this piece. I think the biggest thing that tripped me up while making this piece was that I was trying so hard to figure out the lighting, and I wish I had just stuck to like my roots in color theory and contrast and just not caring about the rules. I wish I had just been more free with this piece. There's always room to continue growing. Looking good. We got some flowers. Got a nice desert bloom going. I was torn about red because I knew I was gonna come in with this red, which gave me more of what I wanted in terms of contrast. Like this was like a boom. It's cool tone, cool on the purple, cool on the red. It makes both of them just really like pop. So I made Saturn. I would normally make Saturn red, which is not even accurate anyway, but my Saturn is red. And so normally the sky color is the Saturn color, but since I knew I was going to do that to the sky, I made the Saturn sphere orange. What I might do for the actual piece, oh, we're getting into ink. Ink is also like usually my favorite part, and this piece again just was such a challenge because I was like, everywhere I put a line down, it seeped in, it disappeared, everything was too dark already, the values were hard to, it was hard for the paper to receive the black ink and stay bold. And so I just kept feeling like, damn, I'm not in my element. Like, what? And yet, here the fuck I am. Making lemonade out of lemons, because that's all you can do. And it's not all a loss. This still brings joy to Kid Nicky's heart. It's been a journey. It's really been a fucking journey. This whole zone is awesome. I love the big roots coming out everywhere. This is when I was having a lot of fun, just kind of like detailing. My little flowers and other ephemera lines. Switched to my favorite pen here. I don't know if you do this out there in the internet's world, but if you make art, do you spin the paper around to get the angle, or do you just keep it straight on and you just contort to try and like get it? I need like 360 access. My inking, it's not about perfection, it's not about tracing. I like lines to hold the structure of something. Like it's kind of like the lines are the form holder, but the spirit behind it, the energy of it still moves, and it's not all inside the line. That's how I color. The color is, for me, the soul and the spirit. The lines are just the container. So by this point, I was still feeling good. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, this is epic. Look at it. Then I started doing this thing that I tend to do. I like adding sort of like constellation, stardust splatter in like the darkest parts of my paintings. Usually it's in the shadows. I like doing a lot of like backlit dinosaurs and stuff, and so I'll add in this sort of like star speckle. I'm adding some highlights into the carrot greens here. Rough, just kind of like chunking it on. The moon needed more luminosity for me. Took some off for some texture. I gave Saturn some moon reflection, even though that don't make sense. I'm still working on my shadows as well, but I was like, fuck it. Messy, big, black marks, just go. You know where the values go, they don't have to be perfect, so I stuck it on. I didn't feel like the carrot kaiju was backlit enough, so I really went in there. And I'm glad I did that. That was it. It's always, you know what, if that's the big win of this piece, I'm here for it. It's not easy to like put that much black paint on your painting after you've worked on it. But sometimes that's what it needs. Sometimes you gotta go bold. And there all the stars start coming out and they look brighter. Yeah. I grew up in Queens, New York, so I grew up around a lot of fireflies. And this just to me is, it's like there's fireflies coming out of the shadow of this kaiju carrot. It's epic. I could almost see this motherfucker like just stomp, like rising out of the Hudson River. Why? Who the fuck cares? Literally just boom, hitting Manhattan. So one swing of an arm. Boom, buildings, capitalism, bye-bye. So this is like more stylized. It wasn't exactly what I wanted, but it was interesting. And it gave me something to go on, and I kind of like the deconstructed spirit shaping of these yellow marks. Don't forget the booty. So here, I was like, you know what, I'm fucking with this. This is pretty dope. You know, it's not exactly what I wanted, but also I didn't know what the fuck I wanted when I started. And I do wish I had given this piece more grace. I wish I had given myself more grace. This was a lot of fun in retrospect, and I didn't have active fun. I've been having fun watching the documentation, remembering. Now I'm adding like debris. I was like, it's not debris heavy enough. Like, where's the debris? He came out of the ground swinging. So then I thought, okay, there would be like chunky rocks attached to some of the root systems. Chunks of rock flying through the air, falling everywhere. I was fucking with it. I felt good about it. honestly, at this point, it just needed some touch-ups. Maybe like, well, I do draw it in later, but like I wanted to connect more of the random rocks to the roots, so it looked like there was these weighted rocks swinging through the air. I added those, and then I was like, you know what, I want to add some stronger highlights. I was here for this too. I actually liked it. This took the idea of the yellow marks from earlier a little bit further. So now it's like, okay, so darkness on this side, but there's these glow marks kind of showing through the darkness even. And then I was like, you know what, let's give him a mouth. I feel like I wish I had stopped here. Like, you know, I felt the need to fill it in. I felt it was just always like the not enoughness was showing up. I did not feel like I was enough while I was making this. And so I was just battling it again and again and again. It's like, okay, no, this will make it better. This will do it. This will do it. The crazy thing is, like, right here, that's where I fucked it. I got a little too ambitious, and I was like, you know what? It'd be cool to have streaking light, like moonlight beams, you know, when it's like backlit and there's like sort of the light rays coming through. And then it just was a murky mess. And that was when I was like, damn, I wish I had stopped right before I started doing these light beams. I didn't need it. The only reason I added them was because I was not feeling enough. Those little teeth are kind of cute though. I love the root rock thing. Denise is cute too.